Hello, John. Hello, John. Hello, John. And welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. 10 forward number 24.
What?
Jurassic Park.
Hell yeah! Ba, 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 ba.
Oop, you
I think
both
we're all
started
doing
it.
different songs. Damn it.
Well, it's the same song, but like different parts. It's yeah. But yes, today we are here to mostly discuss the original Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World Dominion in theaters now.
Yeah. Shameless SEO tie-in buggery boo.
You just came back from the theater. Jake gave you COVID.
Yes. Yeah, it's Jurassic Park. You know it, and if you don't, I don't know, go fucking watch. We're gonna summarize that whole... You know how it is. Fucking guy finds Amber, makes dinosaurs, life finds a way, survival horror.
Cool, who are you?
Oh, right. I'm Chris, and joining me today are...
Miss DNA Ames.
I'm so jealous.
What kind of dinosaur are you, Caitlin?
Ankylosaurus.
Good one.
Look, Dodson, we got Dodson here. See? Nobody cares.
And that's
Nice
Jake.
hat.
But they're gonna.
That was a good hat.
I learned today that his name is Dodgson.
Yeah,
Like,
apparently, because
I thought it was Dodson.
he's in the new movie. Cast
yeah.
with a different actor because apparently the original Dodgson is a pedophile.
Yeah,
or the
went to-
actor. Dodgson himself, we have no proof one way
I
or
mean,
the other.
I wouldn't put it past him because that guy's a creeper.
But yeah. So we didn't actually discuss how we're gonna do this. What are we gonna do here?
What we
Well, why
always
didn't
do, Chris. Explore Dinosaur Park.
Why didn't you want to talk about the summary of the movie?
Because I don't feel like we usually summarize
We usually
movies for 10
give
forwards.
a 2-sentence summary, Chris.
Yeah.
There's dinosaurs.
They get
Yeah.
out.
It's okay. Here's my brief summary of the film.
Love it already.
An insurance inspection goes horribly wrong.
Yep. I haven't actually seen this in a very long time.
Really? See, I rewatched it, and here's another absolutely shameless plug, because I rewatched it when we were doing our fanfics in Deep Space Nine time, because, normally we're a Star Trek podcast. Who knew? And I wrote my fanfic Jurassic Quark.
That's right.
Links below, which I'm still in. It might be the fanfic that I'm most proud of, just because I crammed in a lot of Jurassic Park references.
No, that's fair.
Jurassic Park. It's fucking great.
I loved it.
One thing I completely forgot about was Ian Malcolm's terrible medallion.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
I was
he
so
gets-
distracted by the chest.
That's the thing is he loses it sometime when he gets injured. So I think that's
Damn
why
it.
we forget it's there, because it's not there for the I've been injured, sexy lean.
Oh yeah, pulling his best James Kirk. Oh, a dinosaur blew my shirt open. Ooh, I loved it. I loved it so much.
All the earlier scenes, he has this horrible silver medallion with a huge turquoise stone, and he also actually has a big silver ring with an eagle shitting a turquoise. It's really terrible. I'm glad he somehow I get how he lost the necklace in the kerfuffle. I'm not sure how he lost the ring, but I'm grateful.
A dinosaur was kissing his hand, as well they should, because
Right.
I'm such a fan of Ian Malcolm and, of course, Jeff Goldblum in general. I remember little Ames when this movie came out 500 years ago. When did the dinosaurs exist?
65 million years ago?
Millions of years ago. Little Ames having a crush on Ian Malcolm.
Same.
Did anyone not
I bet Jake did.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
I loved him.
I thought I was torn. I thought Ian Malcolm was super cool, but I also really liked Alan's hat.
Yeah, Alan definitely has a hat game going on.
Yeah,
Although, he did kind of lift it from Indiana Jones.
Kind of, sort of.
Indiana Bones, am I right?
I feel like every movie of the other two movies in which we see Alan Grant. He's got hat. Both movies have a, oh, you almost lost your hat, but your hat was saved. Kind of Indiana Jones nudge.
Yeah,
I wonder how much of that is, like, in the newer movies, I wonder how much of that is sort of a nod to Spielberg.
Yeah,
almost certainly.
Because in this one, he loses it and it's just gone.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll be gratified to know that in Jurassic World Dominion, the hat is saved.
Oh, thank God.
Almost eaten by a Dimetrodon.
That's a fun word.
It's a good. It's not a dino either. A Dimetrodon isn't a dino. It's an ancient lizard.
Was it that one that was the last known link between cold and warm-blooded animals from Voyager, or?
Oh no, that thing, the Itrops. No, that thing's
That's
cool.
right.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that's what I forgot to mention.
This is the thing that has that big, colorful spine on its back.
Yeah, he's got that big frill.
That boy.
thing.
Yeah.
I love him. He's
But yes,
pretty.
we are doing
Real punker, that guy.
We are doing this because, of course,
Punker.
last week we covered Distant Origin.
Yeah, and it's so good to see the Voth in this movie traveling in their herd ships.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, man, if the Voth had showed up and seen what was happening, they'd be pretty pissed.
Why? Because of the capitalism of it all?
Well, yeah, and we're enslaving their ancestors, and that's not great.
It's pretty wild that John Hammond has like a full gift shop full of his own shit before he has locks on the doors.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing, right? So the reason why Malcom is there, like the whole expedition in the first place is an insurance inspection, because the insurance company isn't confident that the park is safe.
I don't think any of these people that they invited are good at making these inspections.
Well, I mean, so that was sort of why Malcom was there, right? Because his thing is that he can.
Is Malcom checking for locks on doors?
No.
Okay.
But he's there to advise on the possible unpredictable or unforeseen outcomes of this.
Guys, let's be real though. The lawyer is the one that went in deep for a real inside look.
Hey, there you go.
After he gets eaten off the shitter by a T-Rex.
Fuck, no, you know what? That's it. I'm calling it. We're not going to do any better than that. This has been a Star to Steer by.
No, I have so many more pages of notes.
But yeah, you'd think that, like, somebody on this would have been on the technical side of things, like making sure, like auditing the code that Nedry wrote.
Listen.
Obviously full of backdoors.
We spared no expense while also sparing a whole lot of expense.
I mean, they certainly spared expense on Nedry.
So here's the thing. Sure. Here's the thing, because we all make that joke.
I was
think,
complaining
all the time.
about that today as well.
But I noticed something in here that I never noticed before, which is Nedry mentions that he made a bid. So, like, if he's getting underpaid, it's kind of his own fault, it sounds like.
He can leave.
Yeah,
but maybe that's Hammond's fault for going with the lowest bidder.
I think it's also Nedry. I think I referenced, or I heard somewhere, that Nedry didn't know quite what the scope of this project was going to be when he made that bid, that it wasn't communicated well enough for him to have made a bid that would have been more accurate, and that's why he made the lower bid.
Is that like in the novel, or?
I don't remember where I heard that. It might have been on Mr. Sunday Movies.
Can we be real? Even if he knew the full scope of the project, being that nothing like it has ever existed before, how could you even begin to make a bid?
Well, they probably said it was for like a security system for a zoological park without getting into specifics.
I mean, for that matter, and spoilers for the other movies a little bit, Nedry's like the only guy at his job on this island.
True.
I don't quite know what Sam Jackson's job was other than to suck down cigarettes by the minute.
Smoking a lot, making quippy things, and swearing at computer programs.
Basically, hold on to your butts. And
hold on to your butts.
We
can't, Sam. They're in your mouth.
Hey! Oh, that's good.
That's two.
Yeah, but, so we have a whole lab full of scientists making
many.
the spectacle of science.
But only one of them had a name.
Wait, hold on. Were those figures autoerotic or?
Oh my god, I had literally never noticed that fucking terrible joke before.
I fucking love that joke.
Jake's favorite line.
Well, it gave me a boner, frankly.
That's as bad as marshmallows. Like, you don't remember the word animatronic. you aren't going to think autoerotic.
Maybe
This
he
guy will.
really likes choking himself while he jerks it. You don't
Maybe.
know.
Well, he was probably thinking of audio animatronic, which is what they're actually called, and that's where he got autoerotic.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm sure that's what it was.
But yeah, so being fair to some of the sequels, their IT teams are whole rooms of people instead of one guy who's underpaid and really upset about
And
it.
super disgruntled. If
And
your
vocal
computer
about
guy
it.
is disgruntled and he controls everything, maybe you're like, hey, buddy, here's a little extra.
Yeah, and it's not just that he controlled everything, this is like nobody else knew what he was doing.
And no
Yeah.
one respected him. They all treated him like shit. Like, honestly, I don't know. I don't think Nedry did anything wrong. He also pays for it dearly. So, like,
There was the
whatever.
whole shutting off all of the park systems so that many people got killed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, who really died? The lawyer? Who cares?
Sam Jackson.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That hunter
And
dude.
yeah, Crocodile Dundee. Yep.
Yeah, and the guy in the intro. It's not a big kill count.
The guy in the...
It's not the first guy's not his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
sure.
That was just because they opened the door too early before the.
No, it's not even because they opened it too early. It's because the Velociraptor threw its whole body weight at the motherfucker and pushed the thing back.
Oh, I thought it was like they were.
No,
supposed
they
to,
told
like,
him to open it. No,
No,
they told
they're
him. He was given
fools.
instructions
Yeah.
to open the gate. The raptor threw its body weight against the thing, moved it back, and then was able to have a snackety snack. Though it did take them an awful long time to shoot her! Like, we're talking 60 seconds of that dude getting his ass chewed, literally, before deciding to shoot her.
Well, because I think at that point, like, they were trying the stun guns
I mean,
first.
I understand, but his whole ass was chewed off.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if my ass is being chewed off by a dinosaur, please jump directly to shoot her, is all I'm saying.
Fair. But yeah, you're right. I forgot how, relatively speaking, like, there's not a ton of losses. And, like, of them, there's one named character that goes that we would kind of go, like, oh, I liked them.
Who, Muldoon?
Oh, I think you meant Sam Jackson, but I
guess
like Muldoon.
Yeah, I've definitely guessed Muldoon. Like,
I
feel
love
like Sam
Muldoon. He's a
Jackson is
bad
more of
bitch.
Sam Jackson doesn't factor all that much into the show until, the scene when he's trying to debug Nedry's shit.
Oh, what's amazing?
Please, God damn it!
he doesn't even get to die, like, on screen.
No,
There was
he
a
just gets to be a
cutscene.
pair of hands.
Hello, there was
Oh.
there was supposed to be a lengthy death scene, but appropriately, there was a hurricane in the middle of shooting. They lost some days and they lost the set that they were supposed to do the Arnold death scene on, so they didn't do the death scene.
No, just picture the Deep Blue Sea one and you'll be fine.
Yeah, really, the problem I think here is that nobody, other than Nedry, none of the deaths were, like, deserved. Like, nobody was a villain other than...
No, the
Nedry.
lawyer was kind of a scumbag.
I mean, he was scummy, but, like, he was just, if anything, Hammond should have got it, in my opinion.
In the book, he does.
Well, I think, and also in the book is, like, he's way more, like, actively a prick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As opposed to, like, a guy
like
who just lets shit get out of control.
Yeah, like a salesman grandpa.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, these people, they do deserve it because they brought dinosaurs back to life.
Yeah, and there's that scene where he's talking to Ellie about his
Flea circus.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that scene.
and it's a good scene, and
And they
it
eat ice
reminds
cream.
you that, like, that's what he is. Like, he's kind of a
Flim flam artist.
a P.T. Barnum type character, kind of dressed up in this, Sir Richard Attenborough costume.
Yeah. But,
We're reminding everyone that that's the actor's brother.
oh, I actually didn't know that.
P.T. Barnum?
No, Attenborough.
Oh, that makes more sense.
That's funny.
I'm really confused. What are we talking about right now?
Attenborough is
Attenboroughs.
a famous naturalist. Like, he does a lot of nature documentaries and
Yeah,
stuff.
in fact, Jake and I just finished watching, there's a new series, I think it's on Apple TV, one of the 1,000 streaming services, called Prehistoric Planet, which is a CGI nature show with dinosaurs, basically. They basically do like an Animal Kingdom, or a Planet Earth, really, is probably better. They do Planet Earth, but it's
it's like-
all CGI
Yeah,
dinos.
it's like a fictional.
Oh, yeah, my friend-
fictional mockumentary sort of thing.
My friend Megan was just telling me about this.
Yeah,
I think you're
and
right that it is
And
Apple
I had it
TV.
reversed. Richard Attenborough is in the movie. David Attenborough is the
Right,
nature
right.
documentary guy.
Yes.
But they are brothers.
I had no idea until right now they were related. I just figured it was a coincidence.
That's funny. No, good for them. That's excellent. Yeah, because Jake and I just watched the Prehistoric Planet show narrated by Attenborough. And he comes in and he makes his spiel, and like there is science behind the show. A lot of it, I think, is absolutely wild speculation. Because when you actually go to like click on the dinosaur afterwards, you're like, "How the fuck did they figure any of this out from one bone?
Well,
God damn it!"
We were saying that throughout this movie, like so much, like it's hunting is based on vision. How can you tell that from a skeleton?
Well, I also feel like a lot of the paleontology in this film, is pretty dated at this point.
Exceptionally.
It was more accurate at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Like they actually got praise at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, that this is really before it was widely accepted that a lot of dinosaurs were feathered, for example.
Yeah.
I think we would have seen like feathered velociraptors if this had been
but they were spliced with frogs, and frogs don't have feathers.
Yeah, I guess I could be argued that
really this is B.D. Wong's doing.
These aren't like really real dinosaurs. They're kind of designer copies of dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, they address that in Jurassic World when they basically say and they're building hybrid dinosaurs and they're genetically engineering more dinosaurs to be cooler and cooler because capitalism, which is actually one of the really interesting things about the Jurassic World movies, is how they kind of do a social commentary in the middle of this movie in which they're making lots of money. Hilarious. But they basically say, like, we made the dinosaurs people would have wanted to see, and we made them like they wanted to see them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I never saw the first one. The first Jurassic World, but I remember hearing that they threw that line in there to be like, we gave people what they expected.
Yeah, and you see some feathered ones in the new movie. Go see the new movie.
Yeah, the new movie, so just my one comment on that movie is it's enjoyable, I would say.
Yes.
There's like an underpinning of anti-GMO bullshit, which I'm not a big fan of. Like the villains are like they're
Monsanto.
It's a not very
thinly veiled
Monsanto thing. So
that's the thing. Like Monsanto, definitely evil.
Oh,
GMOs, not. Like you can separate the two.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of they decided to like say, hey, we can genetically engineer things so that we can be the only ones that survive.
Yeah, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I totally believe Monsanto would do that, but... Yeah.
And of course, the villain in the new movie is...
Steve Jobs.
Dodgson, who is the villain in this movie as well.
You think he's the biggest villain in this movie?
It goes full circle.
He's sort of the... I imagine, backstory that was dropped from this movie was that Dodgson was already working for Biosyn. Yeah, Biogen's a real company. Biosyn.
Yeah, I think they name dropped them at some point, or at least it's in the book.
Yeah.
So
that's the weird thing, though, is like in this he feels like he's just some random mook.
Yeah,
I don't feel like he would.
Impression that he's like the Steve Jobs of biotech.
Maybe it was the beginning of his.
But that's like a random mook becoming the head of the company is just like kind of a stretch.
Unless he was the company in the beginning and he was just building.
Maybe.
Like if he was still a Bill Gates basement job type of situation at that point. I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, no, it is funny though because I remember thinking that like all these things where they're trying. It's like. Okay, but how, and like even though it's, again, like you said, it's now dated, but like even the new stuff, it's like, how, like, what do we actually, like, I assume some of it is probably, maybe you find a bunch of the same skeleton together, so you assume, they probably moved in herds, because whatever. But yeah, I know, like, now they think, and I'm not sure how, but possibly T-Rex was not, in fact, a major predator, but more of a scavenger.
Yeah, like a big fucking vulture, like that stupid kid says in the early movie.
Yeah, like waiting for everyone else to
I thought he said big turkeys.
Oh, he did say turkey.
But
Vulture's
yeah, like,
good, though.
They apparently there's at least one theory now that says they just cleaned up the scraps later.
Yeah.
They also think the little arms may have been tiny wings that helped them with balance when they ran.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
That would look really stupid.
Yeah, like if they were very feathered, they think maybe the little arms were kind of like, because people joke about that, these funny little arms, like what are they for? Oh, they might have been for balance and nothing else.
The pinky toe of dinosaur.
Or they're just like vestigial, right? You know,
Yeah.
they might have served a purpose in an earlier ancestor and then just kind of atrophied.
Yeah, one thing they did do in this movie was they basically flip-flopped the size of the raptor and the Dilophosaurus.
Yeah.
Because raptors are actually known to be, like, they're very small. Or at least velociraptors are very small. There's bigger raptors, but they didn't have cool names, like Velociraptor. So they made the Velociraptor big to make it a cooler villain, or a cooler dino. And they shrunk down Dilophosaurus in size, because they're actually about that size that a raptor would have been in the movie. So they shrink them down to make sure that they're visually distinct from each other.
Mm.
And then they add on the Dilophosaurus the frills and the spitting, which
so that's not no basis in science
no
whatsoever?
fucking absolutely fictitious.
Oh Jesus, I never knew that.
That's like my favorite part of that dinosaur.
It's such a good dinosaur. It's one of my favorite. It was definitely my favorite dinosaur in Jurassic Park. I think in the whole series, my favorites are the compies because I fucking love them.
They're so cute. I want them to be my little friends.
So great. And they eat little girls, and they're the best.
Well, the girl was fine.
Right?
The girl was fine.
It's fine,
No,
but I still
not in
believe.
Jurassic World 2, Jurassic Park 2. Doesn't a little girl get attacked by the
She gets
compies?
attacked. She gets attacked, but
someone
says that she's cool.
Someone gets fatally compied, but it's not a kid.
It's what's his face
From Fargo, that guy.
From Fargo, yeah.
Steve Buscemi?
No,
his friend.
Fucking guy.
The
He always
guy.
plays
William H. Macy?
No, he always plays a goon in a movie. He looks like really Eastern European.
Adam Sandler.
I got the name here. What's his fucking name?
Right, William H. Macy's in the third one.
Yes.
I have no idea which character he is.
I know the guy you mean. Is he a Skarsgård? No, he's not a Skarsgård.
No.
Fuck.
Well.
So
too many. Is it Peter Stormare?
Yeah.
Yeah, him. Yeah, that's funny. I forgot.
Yeah, he gets compied to death. It's great.
I haven't seen this one in ages, but I also have not seen... Like, I've seen it more recently. I've literally only seen 2 and 3 once each in theaters when they were new.
I think I'm in the same boat. Though the third one I was making out with my high school boyfriend and don't remember anything about it.
The third one I remember being awful, but what was great was it was like the whole theater was me, a friend, and like one other person. And we just sat there kind of goofing on it the whole time. So it was a terrible movie, but a fun experience.
Yeah, this is one of those film series where the drop in quality from the first movie to all of the rest of them is just so incredibly steep.
It's there with like Rambo and RoboCop.
Yeah, well, like
Jaws.
So here, worse. So like RoboCop 2 ain't bad. Rambo 2 is fine. It's just a totally different movie.
Die Hard then?
See, I don't even remember. Die Hard 2 was the one on the plane, right?
Yeah, the impression I'm under is people aren't super keen on 2, but then people love 3.
Let's go Sam Jackson.
So like, whereas with this one, it was like 1, then 2 was bad, then 3 was worse. Like, again,
and then the following, like the worlds are just, I just think that they're so very different from the original. All of them, really.
So
I just don't understand the Chris Pratt, like Crocodile Dundee, like charming animal trick. It's so stupid.
I don't fucking get.
Like, what is that?
Chris Pratt as like a straight action star. Like, I liked him as the Star-Lord in that movie.
Yeah.
Guardians of
the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. I liked him as that character because that character's kind of doofy, kind of the Chris Pratt type. Whereas,
but also ripped.
Yeah, but his character in Jurassic World is not supposed to be doofy.
That's the thing.
But the actor is just a doofy person by nature.
For some reason, they've decided to... It's weird. Like, it's the opposite of so many other recent, like, Hollywood tried desperately to make The Rock and Channing Tatum, like, very serious action stars. And then everyone realized, no, they're actually pretty funny guys, so let's let them be like fun action stars. And both of them, especially Tatum, have done way better since then. Whereas like with Pratt, he started off as a goofy action star, but now they're trying to make him serious action man. And it's like, what?
Just to be fair, the studios have put a lot of money into like de-chonkifying him, so now they want to like collect on their investment, I'm sure.
I guess, but it's just like he can still be funny. Like, again, it's...
Oh, I know. I'm not actually being serious. I think it's
I know.
Stupid.
But it does not make any sense at all to decide, though, like Jake said, that he's like serious action.
Yeah, I think he grows into the character more in the sequels, but in the first one, it just does not work for me.
Yeah, it's why I give the Jurassic Park original a lot of credit, because they cast actors that were right for their roles and didn't really go with the giant names that, were originally on their lists. And I can have the lists that I can share with you guys, which are very fun. Because originally they offered the Dr. Grant role to William Hurt and Harrison Ford. And I don't...
Wait, who's William Hurt? I know John Hurt.
William Hurt's been in a lot of stuff. But now I can't think of... The only thing I can think of is Westworld.
The only person I think I know from Westworld is James Marsden.
He's
and what's her name? Rachel Evans Wood? Question mark.
Rachel Evan Woods.
Evan Woods.
Oh no, I'm mixing him up anyway. That's not who William Hurt is. Sorry. No, William Hurt. What the fuck has he been in?
He's a wicked. That guy. Oh god, I forgot. He passed away kind of recently, didn't he?
Yeah. So I mixed him up with another actor entirely. So he played Thaddeus Ross in Captain America: The Civil War, which I didn't know they made a Captain America about the Civil War, but that's kind of tasteless, but all right. Been in a ton of shit.
He definitely would have been less distracting than Harrison Ford would have been.
Oh yeah, that would not have been the role.
Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones as Dr. Alec
Exactly.
Grant.
Yeah, because the great thing about Sam Neill and the great thing about Laura Dern is Ellie Sattler, instead of, some of the other actresses like Robin Wright and Gwyneth Paltrow and Helen Hunt, is that they look like Laura Dern and Sam Neill, they look like nerds. And I think that's so perfect because, sure, the two of them are kind of a cute little couple, but they're not like, oh, we're hot people kissing all the time, like Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard. Oh, we're so pretty and we're the stars of this movie and we're giant, movie stars in this franchise. Instead, no, they look like paleontologists.
Yeah.
They look like people.
The pretty is reserved for Ian Malcolm.
Oh, yeah.
And he so is.
Was anyone else considered for that role?
Oh, it's fucking hilarious because Jim Carrey auditioned for the role.
What?
Oh, God. I'm so glad that is not what we got. I'm so glad that he took Batman Forever or whatever instead.
Jim Carrey, no.
That would be fucking awful.
Wrong.
I can't.
Don't need to see his chest.
Chaos Theory, haven't you?
I'm trying to picture him attempting.
Dude, he'd be awful.
I'm just picturing him trying to seduce anyone, and it's not working.
No.
I mean, again, see Batman Forever, and what a grand pursuit you must be.
Was anyone else on that list that you saw? Jim Carrey. Jesus.
They also asked Danny DeVito for some reason.
Here's one. Sean Connery was considered for Richard Attenborough.
That tracks. I mean, he's basically the same person.
But I feel like this movie doesn't need big blockbuster stars. No. This movie needs the dinosaurs to be the stars, and that's perfect.
Of course, that's the thing. We're all of an age where that part was lost on us, of course, because we were children, so this is the first place we know most of these actors from, and we think of them as bigger than they were at the time because...
I feel like kids would recognize Harrison Ford all over the place, so...
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. No, what I'm saying is, it's easy for us to kind of forget that at the time, these three were not necessarily, household names, because for us, they're, part of our formative years.
Yeah. Yeah, I love think he's saying the opposite of what you were... I think saying.
I still don't understand what Chris is saying, but
what he's saying is that we equate these three actors as being superstar actors and household names because for us they were in this movie.
They were in Jurassic.
I equate them as the Jurassic Park people.
Yeah, well,
exactly. That's what he means. I think.
Yeah,
Jeff Goldblum probably would have been famous regardless because he was already
because he's in Earth Girls Are Easy and he's great in that.
Well, he'd been in some indie things.
He was probably the most famous of the three at the time.
Yeah.
That's why he got to have his shirt open.
Well, that and...
I don't actually think Laura Dern... This might be sacrilegious. I actually don't think Laura Dern is that great an actress.
I like her in this. I admit...
I liked her in Star Wars.
I think she's fine in this. I did not care for her in Star Wars, but then again, I just
I
didn't care for that
forgot she was in Star Wars.
I didn't care for that character in Star Wars.
I honestly
didn't care for her in the new movie, in the new Jurassic Park, either.
I'm queer, so I'm required to say that I fucking love her.
Yeah.
Because that's the rule.
I don't think I've seen anything else she's in, so I really don't have a strong opinion. But she's good in this.
Yeah, no, I think in this, but yeah, her more recent work, I'm not a big fan of. And then like Sam Neill, the only other thing I can really think of from him is that
Event Horizon. Holy shit!
Which is just madness.
He was in the Jungle Book, a Jungle Book movie that was made in the 90s.
Oh wow!
He was one of the many people considered to take over as Bond in the 80s.
Sam Neill?
That would have been a way better choice than fucking. No offense to Roger Moore, but man, he would have been way better than Roger Moore.
No, Moore was the 70s.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, it would have been him instead of Tim Dalton.
Oh,
that would be fine.
Tim Dalton.
I would be fine with it, but it also, like, Sam Neill then would have been with at least one really bad Bond movie. Right?
Yeah,
Tim Dalton from The Rocketeer, right?
Yeah. Tim Dalton, unfortunately, would have been an amazing Bond, but he got stuck with
shitty movies.
One of the worst Bond movies ever made. And the other one wasn't bad, but you could kind of tell it had been written for Roger Moore and then slightly rewritten for the new guy. Like, he never got to have a
Bond for some reason.
Sorry.
I don't know how we got to Bond, but
because Alan Grant was almost Bond.
I have some Bond comparisons to make to Jurassic World, actually.
Okay,
the new Jurassic World.
Okay, give it to us, and then I want to tell you a story about the child actors.
Well, why don't I save it for when we're talking about Jurassic World, assuming that we're going to.
We are going to.
Then I'm going to leave it until then.
Okay, leave it, and I'm going to tell you about the kid actors, because originally in the book, they're flip-flopped, and Lex is the younger one, and Tim is the older computer nerd.
Huh.
And they flip-flopped them.
I forgot that.
Because the kid who plays Tim knew Spielberg, because he auditioned for Hook, but was too young for Hook. And Spielberg basically said, like, I'm going to put you in something, though. Trust me, I'm going to do it. And then he gets, Jurassic Park and says, okay, here's what I'm going to put that kid in. Perfect. We'll just flip-flop the characters. It'll be fine. So they did that.
Well, that's nice. Because
it would have been kind of cool if he was actually Richard Attenborough's grandson.
They make a lady hacker, which is a, uncommon thing in movies.
Yeah, I mean, I do think I know this is Unix is probably the worst scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah, it is rightly mocked.
Yeah, but I don't hate her for it.
No, not her fault. She didn't write it.
And I have a great quote from that actress, the actress Ariana Richards, who plays Lex. The quote is, I was called into a casting office, and they just wanted me to scream. So I heard later that Steven had watched a few girls on tape that day, and I was the only one who ended up waking his sleeping wife on the couch, and she came running through the hallway to see if the kids were all right.
Well, there we go.
So, good screaming on this girl.
You got the part.
You woke up a woman famous for screaming.
Who's Spielberg's wife?
I can't think of her name, but she was the love interest in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
And a character
because that's where they met, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the character is often sort of lambasted for being there just to scream all the time instead of having a real character.
Yeah, these kids who scream all the time, they hardly had more character.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Kate Capshaw.
Thank you. Again, not her fault. She didn't write it. She just performed it. And again, actually, speaking of, I will say, as Caitlin pointed out, the kid who plays Tim does a great job because I really hate him. And that's how he's written. It's like, it's not that he's bad. It's that he has a really good job embodying this really aggravating, clingy child.
Yeah,
he gets better as the movie goes on, though.
How, like, Grant's character development through the movie, which I don't know how much you needed, but it's fine, was he starts off the movie detesting children.
Rightly so.
And giant turkey kid, he literally threatens with a claw and wants to send raptors at this child. And he packages him up from the island and sends him to his house. And by the end of the movie, he's a little bit more okay with children, which is fine. But, you can see from these two kids, Lex, who's fucking in love with him the moment she sees him.
Yep.
And the little boy and Tim, who the first line, I read your book, is very, I like Santa.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's actually something I didn't catch until this viewing, that she kind of has a little crush on Grant.
Yeah, I don't think I had ever noticed it either.
Completely missed that.
Oh, she does. There's a moment where she trips when they're walking to, I think it's the Triceratops. She trips, and then he helps her up, and she keeps holding his hand with this knowing little smile, like, I got to hold your hand.
This is the first time I spotted that.
Same.
This viewing.
But it also tells me that whoever wrote this movie really missed a trick, because all the girls of her age were actually fawning over Malcom.
Well, you understand, they wrote a script. They didn't know who was going to get cast.
I'm just saying. I feel like they needed to have that bit of character development for Grant, though, because I feel like otherwise he had no character.
He's just a disgruntled nerd. Like the line he delivers where, he's talking about, oh, wow, our jobs are going to be obsolete. We're going to be extinct because now there's dinosaurs we can study in the flesh instead of digging up bones. Like, this is a man who all he wants is science funding. That's his motivation for this movie and for Jurassic Park 3 is there's no funding for the sciences, and I get it.
Yeah. See, that's less true now, though. Like, it's not that there isn't funding for the sciences. There's probably still not funding for
paleontology.
his science.
Right.
Like, if anything, over the past couple decades, STEM funding has gone up in certain fields, while everything else has been slashed dramatically. But
yes,
yeah,
how do we genetically engineer more gigantic mutant bugs or locusts to take out our crops?
I still can't believe that's a major plot point in the new one. Jesus.
Well, it's because they needed Ellie to be the driving force of the show.
Yeah.
And she's a paleobotanist.
She's a botanist.
No, I know, but it's just like
it also sort of makes sense, though. You wouldn't take. It's not a huge leap that people who get charge of the dinosaurs would start using it for profit immediately.
Yeah, but it's a Jurassic Park movie. The main thing should be dinosaurs, not bugs.
Bro, there are so many dinosaurs in this fucking movie. Don't worry about it. There's a whole Mos Eisley cantina full of fucking dinosaurs in this movie.
Yeah, there's the dinosaur flea market.
Yeah,
this movie, Star Wars, Jurassic World 3, Dominion.
Jurassic Wars.
That movie was a mix of Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, obviously, maybe, Star Wars, and James Bond.
Yeah, I would say my biggest complaint, because I think they did okay with the movie. It was dumb. It was action. I think where they fucked up, where they didn't stick the landing. The ending of the movie should have been a montage.
Bloodbath.
It should have been like a montage of news reports of the locusts going out of control, and then ending on just a shot of all of the human cities just fall into ruins and dinosaurs walking through the streets.
Wow, and Malcolm is right. Malcolm's the last one alive saying, "I knew it."
Yeah, and then just like Ian Malcolm in his space station, doing the Mr. Burns thing with his fingers.
And
I found a way, did it.
And then in 25, 30 years, they make a movie where the dinosaurs that evolved from these dinosaurs, the dino-people, bring back humans.
Yay,
from Amber, and,
And that movie is called The Most Dangerous Game.
I will say, I've not seen any of the Jurassic Worlds. They feel probably as unnecessary as Jurassic 2 and 3, but they are better than the Jurassic Park 4 that was getting bounced around for a while, which, among other things, involved genetically engineering dino-human hybrid soldiers.
Oh, yeah, that sounded stupid. That was a bad idea.
See, that really would have gone... that's the other thing. This was also very Resident Evil-y, and that would have really put it over the Resident Evil-y top.
Yeah, that never came to fruition, thank goodness. I've seen some of the concept art. It, looks like it'd be a good video game, but in a movie, you'd just be like, how did we get
out
here?
Of this. Chris Pratt, it's a dinosaur. Neat.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, dinosaur.
Not nearly enough Mr. DNA in the Jurassic World movies.
Mr. DNA, deeper voice than I remembered.
There is a cameo of Mr. DNA in the first Jurassic World movie.
Yay!
Yeah, that was the thing when we were watching the movie. Kate was like, oh, they kind of redid this scene in Dominion. Oh, they redid this, they redid that. It's like, Jesus Christ, did they do anything original? And apparently original was locusts.
Yay. And Clone Girl. There's also a Clone Girl.
Yeah, they mentioned the Clone Girl.
Well, yeah, Jurassic
mentioned the Clone
Jurassic World
pitch meeting.
Oh, right.
Dominion. That's the one we just watched, right? Dominion.
Yes, yeah. Dominion. Dominion is the one where the dinosaurs conquer the world.
The one before it, which I have declared should have been
Fallen
called
Kingdom.
Jurassic House, because it's basically...
Oh, yeah, you mentioned this before, I think.
A big Jurassic Park adventure that takes place in a house.
Yeah.
The whole, half the movie takes place in one house.
Yeah.
And they're being chased by dinosaurs.
You mentioned that. I don't know if you mentioned it on the show, but you definitely told us about that before.
I don't think I did, because I only watched it for the first time yesterday the day before, so it couldn't have been me.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely heard someone call Jurassic Park House before, at least I thought they did.
Well, it was Jake in the future.
Yes.
There we go.
Jake, just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say this about the Jurassic World series, which we may touch upon more. We'll see how we have no structure for this episode, but it's fine. Is that the focus ends up being a lot on capitalism and the first movie, the premise is the amusement park is up and running and everything's great, but the people are demanding more and bigger and bigger and bigger dinosaurs. Yeah. And because we want their money, we're going to give them what they want, and it's going to get out of control.
Yeah.
That's fucking accurate.
Well,
good on them.
But there's also the element in that movie of
militarizing the dinosaurs?
Militarizing dinosaurs, which also comes up in 2 as well. Fallen House. Yeah, well, didn't it sort of came up in
with the lasers pointer trained raptors or whatever they were.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that whole militarization thing is a major plot point in the Jurassic World.
I remember when Jurassic World came out, there were actually some people, some of the dumbest motherfuckers alive, frankly, who a criticism they had was like, oh, people wouldn't get bored and want bigger and better dinosaurs. It's like, have you met people? Like, what? Yeah,
well, here's the thing. Like, you make them look more badass, but you give them, you cross them with, kitten DNA. Oh,
dude, no way. Kittens destroy everything.
Little dagger claws.
Kitten and dinosaur DNA is how you get Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
I don't know what that is, but you could, cross with a puppy, something very friendly.
Yeah.
Here's an
but
actual
make them look
question.
Like a badass.
Should they just have never made carnivorous dinosaurs? Because it seems like the herbivore dinosaurs never had a problem. They were always fine. Every time we go and visit the brachiosaurs, we have a great fucking day.
Yeah, no, that probably is what they should have done.
Tell that to Lexi after she got sneezed all over.
That's true. But that's why when they mentioned T-Rex, everyone shot you made T-Rex, and then when you have velociraptors, that, I think that was kind of the point.
Yeah,
is that why did you make these very dangerous dinosaurs when you could have just made some that are less dangerous? Or, the danger is accidentally being stepped on.
Yeah.
Which should have happened more. Didn't happen a lot.
No.
That's what they should have done with the lawyer is big fake out. The T-Rex doesn't eat him. And he's like, oh, thank goodness. Then just Brontosaurus foot. Kind of like the opening of Monty Python. Just that was interesting to actually bring up capitalism. Because there's the scene where the lawyer is talking about how much they can charge people.
Mm-hmm.
And
$10,000.
And Hammond is like, no, I want to share it with everybody. And it's like,
why is he Scotty?
Stars and horseshoes.
Yeah, I fucked up the accent.
Or Colomini. Is he doing a Colomini?
He's supposed to be Scottish. I just blew it horribly.
He's actually Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah. Clever girl. But, yeah, again, I imagine that is a pretty big departure from the version of him in the book, who, again, from what I've read, is just the worst. Whereas in this, you're kind of just like, yeah, if I was super rich and created dinosaurs, I'd kind of lose sight of sense too. I just feel like what did he say? Like a kid in kid who found his father's gun. I was gonna say kid in a candy store, which is less threatening.
I know, you get diabetes.
It's true. Very dangerous. Yeah, and speaking of science and capitalism and
let's not talk about science because
why?
It would be way over our heads.
No, I was just going to say, even my dumb ass knows the science, and this doesn't make a ton of sense.
Oh, yeah, the science in this makes zero sense. But I did want to just briefly mention, not harp on Michael Crichton's anti-science-ness.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Well, he was famously a global warming denier.
Really?
Good.
Yeah, he wrote a whole book about it.
Wow, glad he's dead.
About how, global warming is just alarmist bullshit.
What's the book?
I think it's called the something.
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
I'm sure you could Google Michael Crichton global warming and find the book. It's a novel, but it's social commentary about...
it's just a screed.
Global warming bullshit. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of colors these movies for me a little bit, knowing that the author was kind of an anti-science guy.
Yeah, but it's nowhere in this movie. And I actually have to say, I know I was watching a video recently about how the cloning of the dinosaurs from mosquito DNA probably wouldn't be a thing. There probably wouldn't be, like, even if you tried to splice it with other DNA, it would not work. It wouldn't work with...
It's not from mosquito DNA. It's from the blood that's in the mosquito.
The blood that's in the mosquito.
Way.
The DNA you get from mosquitoes that have eaten some DNA.
Okay.
Wouldn't fucking work.
No.
But in the movie...
dried out or something.
It's framed in such a way that, as a, especially, watching this as a kid, you're like, that makes perfect sense. I don't question it for a second. I'm not a scientist.
No.
And I haven't had, 20 or however many years of extra moving forward in sciences, but it just sounds like, yes, I am behind this. This will work.
Well, and DNA, like, to the public at large was still such a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could pretty much just say anything about DNA and they go, that's probably sure.
Yeah, and remember, now this movie predates...
The OJ trial?
Yes, that's exactly the relevant thing I was going to mention.
Well, it is relevant because it brought DNA to the forefront of a lot of people's minds.
Oh, okay, yes, good point. No, I was going to mention Dolly the sheep.
That makes a lot more sense. Still, yes.
Which was
cloning.
a couple years after this.
Yeah.
So
whatever happened to that sheep?
It died.
She was delicious.
Yes.
How long did she live?
7 or 8 years. Like, it wasn't like...
Is that a normal sheep's span of life?
I don't know how long sheep lasts. All I know is that she's named Dolly because she was cloned from a mammary cell, and she's named after Dolly Parton.
Is she really?
Really?
Yes, it's a big tit joke.
That
sheep live 10 to 12 years.
Jesus Christ! Fucking. Oh my. And they say science isn't welcoming to women. Oh wait, it isn't. Jesus Christmas! Now I'm upset.
Yeah, speaking of, I actually
6.5.
There were so many moments, and they do a better job of this in the worlds, which is kind of interesting to me. But in Jurassic Park and in the other ones, even though they say over and over and over again, all the dinos are female. We made female dinosaurs. They're all ladies.
Everyone
lady
calls
dinosaurs.
them him the whole time.
All moving along. Good boy. Good boy. And
well,
God
that's
damn
because
it.
You see, cats are girls and dinosaurs are boys.
That's fair.
The one character it makes sense with is Nedry, because he probably hasn't been paying attention. But yeah, the rest of them, it's like, come on, guys.
I feel like Nedry's been paying the most attention.
Well, he's been paying attention to stuff he needs to pay attention to.
Well, also, something I thought was interesting is that they talk about that, like, that it's important that they're all female because they can't reproduce. And then there's this whole thing about how life found a way, and because certain frogs can change gender.
And Alan tied his belts together.
Yep. So,
that,
but it never
is that
really
like two
comes
dicks?
up. Like, it's never actually a problem. Like, it's not like they get attacked by...
Oh, like by unauthorized baby dinosaurs?
No, that's true.
Like, it's actually just like, it comes up in the movie only to really show that, like, oh, you stupid scientists. Come on, science, bitch.
But also...
You got it wrong.
How did they never think... How are you going to be a scientist that's fucking with DNA and shit and not be like, some frogs can turn themselves into boys. Maybe we should not use frog. Like, how does that even happen? I guess it's because, like Malcolm said, like, you didn't fucking earn it. You just did it. And they didn't have to think about it. But it's like, really, that's kind of pathetic.
And to explain, Ames, that bit where Alan has to tie his belt is, in fact, meant to be kind of like a little wink. Because those are the
because there's a male seatbelt and a female seatbelt. And
he's got two quote-unquote female ends.
Oh, that's
what those were.
He ties them together. He improvises. He finds a way to make a seatbelt when he shouldn't have been able to.
Oh, shit.
That is way too clever for a kid's movie.
Not my observation, something I read.
That's still, though, that's very clever.
You know, I was going to ask...
Clever seatbelts.
I was going to ask if it actually was a kid's movie, but I feel like the presence of the two kids kind of makes it a kid's movie.
I mean,
and none of the good heroes die.
Well, I did too, but that's because children love dinosaurs. It's not because it was necessarily age-appropriate for me.
Definitely a scary movie for kids, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the part where the dude gets it on the toilet? Because as a kid, I didn't realize that he was a scumbag.
Right.
So I was just like, oh no, he's dead. That sucks.
See, I thought that scene was hilarious as a child.
Oh, it scared me.
He got eaten on the toilet.
like, he was on a toilet, so it's automatically funny. And even by the age of, like, 8 or whatever it was, I had already been exposed to the cultural idea that lawyers are inherently bad.
That really tracks with your parents.
So, like, yeah, it was just, no, he's a lawyer and he's on the toilet. This is hysterical.
I was like,
and
2 or
Malcolm
3
saying,
years.
when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
That's
hilarious.
2 or 3
Hilarious
years
laugh line
younger
as a-
than you,
as a
so
8-year-old.
There's too much
Yeah.
too much talking right now. I didn't hear what either of you just said.
I was just saying that I was like 6 at the time, and it mostly just scared me.
And Jake was pointing out Ian's.
When you gotta
Quip.
go, you gotta go.
Great line. Loved it as a kid.
Yep.
Autoerotic line. Great.
Yes.
I love Sam Neill really kind of like losing focus at one. They're still, they're wandering, they're trying to survive, but he's gets caught up in this moment of, oh, they're like birds evading prey, and the 2 kids are looking at him like, now's not the time, buddy.
Well, it's after that. It's actually when the T-Rex bursts through and has one in its mouth, and he's like, "Look how it eats!"
Yeah,
and the kids are like, "Let's get the fuck out of here, bro!"
It's like, Alan, Jesus, like, wow, not the time.
Tim was the one being like, "Look how it eats! Look at all the blood!" And they're like, "Tim, we gotta fucking go."
Alan said, "Look how it eats." Tim was like, "Look at all the blood."
Yeah.
Okay.
Although he
Separate,
did seem
two
to-
separate reactions, both of them inappropriate, both of them from men. I rest
Only
my
Lex
case.
was correct. Yeah.
Women
Yes.
inherit the earth.
How did the T-Rex get in the building?
Because they needed the
through
end of that
front
movie to
door,
happen.
Jake, what the fuck do you think?
Someone left the loading dock open.
Okay.
Do you want the actual story?
Yes.
Cool. So in the original script,
Well, you see, it's a CG dinosaur, so it didn't.
that one might have been one of the animatronics.
Well, it was a lot of the time, but anyway, I was just kidding. Go ahead, Ames. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Do it. No, don't do it. So the original end of the movie didn't have the T-Rex come back, but, Spielberg says the T-Rex has to come back because it's the T-Rex. It's the fucking star of the movie. Sorry,
He's right.
Sam Neill. It's the T-Rex. Because what they wanted originally to happen was those big skeletons hanging from the ceiling in the visitor center. Mm-hmm. They're actually, there's actually a crane game that Alan would go use the levers and stuff to drop the skeletons on the raptors and crush the raptors that way so they'd live.
That's stupid.
I feel like this sounds the T-Rex was the better idea.
Yeah, that sounds anticlimactic as fuck. Probably great
Everybody
for a
was
book,
like, Steven,
bad for
have
a
you
movie.
ever directed a movie before?
Right. And then and it kind of becomes a tropey thing where, like, every movie T-Rex becomes the hero.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Little too much, but that's the part that's definitely a kid's movie is every ending shot of pretty much all the movies is T-Rex badass. This bitch can do whatever she wants. She comes in, she eats somebody, she roars, there's your end shot. We love T-Rex.
But
Good.
we apparently don't love Brontosaurus.
I love Brontosaurus.
Brachiosaurus.
No, wait.
Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Either
love
way,
Brachiosaurus.
you know that story about the second movie, right?
Oh, I thought you were referencing what happens in Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah,
which you haven't seen.
No, that is what I'm talking about. The
that
second World. God, this gets confusing.
The 5th movie.
Where they, kill that specific Brachiosaurus.
Oh my god, I cried and I wasn't expecting to. It was horrifying.
Well, and I guess because they don't say in the movie it's the same one, but the director, because apparently he's a fucking psychopath, was like, oh yeah, no, it's the same one. I'm a horrible piece of shit. Yeah. I genuinely hate that man for that. What is wrong with you, you sick little fucking turd?
Was it Trevorrow or was it the director that said that?
The director. But apparently someone told that to Sam Neill in an interview for what he was doing about Dominion. He's like, oh, well, that's sad. Because he hadn't known about that. That they killed off.
Because Sam Neill didn't see those fucking terrible movies, probably.
Well, even if he did,
They're not
again,
bad.
They don't say in the movie specifically. It was something the director confirmed, because he's a weirdo. But yeah, Sam Neill's like, oh, well, that's sad. Beautiful creature. It's it wasn't real, but I appreciate that you have sympathy, unlike the psychotic director.
Yeah, the director they brought in. Okay, so this is give a little more on Fallen Kingdom, which Jesus Christ is the worst one. So here's premise for Chris. Actually, you would love a section of this movie. It's the kind of the bookends that are terrible.
Okay.
Isla Norbo,
Nublar?
or whichever it is. The island where the dinosaurs are currently on is actually an active volcano. Whoops. That happened to be in the Crichton books, but they never brought it up before.
Right.
The dinosaurs are all going to get killed, so let's go rescue a bunch, put them on a new island, everything will be fine.
This is the second one, right?
Yeah, this is Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's how they wind up in the new sanctuary, right? Then they give us that in a sound bite at the beginning of this episode.
Well, no,
this new movie.
So basically, the plan is that they're going to rescue. They're going to do like a Noah's Ark kind of thing. They're going to rescue a bunch of them, and it's Zephram Cochrane.
Oh, yay!
Like Zephram Cochrane, it takes over for. Okay, so the backstory is that Zephram Cochrane used to be friends with John Hammond.
Okay.
But they had a falling out.
Of course.
But now he's he was like involved in InGen, so now he's gonna take responsibility for salvaging the dinosaurs that are otherwise gonna get wiped out by the volcano. So they bring them to his house, but it turns out that his evil, like mustache twirlingly evil assistant actually has different plans, which is to bring the dinosaurs back and have an auction for rich people to buy them because, evil rich people.
Yeah.
So just rich people, is what you're saying.
In the basement of Zephram Cochrane's house. Of course, it goes as well as you might expect.
Sure.
They genetically engineer a new one.
Oh yeah,
that I knew. Yeah,
there's a new kind of like velociraptor / asshole dinosaur that eventually gets bit by T-Rex, of course. But then
I don't think it does. I think it gets killed by Blue.
Yeah, I think so. But I think he also gets bit by T-Rex. Maybe. I don't remember. But point is, the way the movie ends. Spoiler alert. They kill the evil genetically engineered velociraptor, and then all of the dinosaurs are locked in a room filled with poison gas. And they're like, man, we should just let this go. Like, we should just let them die because,
dinosaurs were a mistake.
There's no place for them to live. They're fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And then
we're in California right now. We can't just let them out into the streets of California, right?
But of course,
they did,
right?
While as they make this decision, the little girl who's there is like, no, I'm going to hit the open door button and free the dinosaurs. And she does. And then, so that's the setup for the next movie where dinosaurs are just a thing now. Like, that live in nature.
Yeah, which is an interesting premise. The thing that I think Chris would specifically love, even though this movie becomes a dinosaurs loose in a mansion hunting a little girl, which is fucking terrible. The thing you would love is at the end of the auction, when a lot of dinosaurs get freed, they eat the rich. And it's so fun, and it's better, like, social commentary than they tried in the fucking casino scene in Star Wars, because they don't bother spelling out, it's important that we're eating the rich, wink. But no, they eat some fucking, like, they eat the auctioneer, they eat this rich lady, and it's fucking excellent.
Good, I appreciate that.
Sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Purportedly, it was a reaction to... So in Jurassic World, the previous one, they have a long, extended scene of a woman getting mauled to death by pterodons.
I read about that.
And then eaten by a mosasaurus, and holy shit, it's really gratuitous and unnecessary. And she was a nice character.
Yeah.
And people were sad because she didn't deserve to be fucking mauled so horribly.
Yeah,
and they said, okay... Only rich assholes are going to get it in this movie. It'll be fine.
I remember hearing about that at the time because it caused such a because it was just so focused on it. It's not that you can't necessarily have a nice character get killed. I mean, then you maybe care a little more. But yeah, I guess the sequence was just really.
It sounds like they turned it into revenge porn.
Yeah, drawn out in a
horrifying.
very deeply unpleasant way. Again, I genuinely, between that and the Brachiosaurus thing, I'm kind of wondering if Colin Trevorrow is just a sick man.
The Brachiosaurus thing?
Killing the Brachiosaurus at the end of Fallen Kingdom and needing to specify that it was the same one.
You said it was the director that said that. That wasn't Trevorrow.
Yeah, Trevorrow's the director.
No, of Fallen Kingdom? No, he wasn't. He was the executive producer.
Oh, okay. He apparently came back to direct the third one.
I don't think he did.
No, I just checked.
Yeah, he directed the third one.
Oh, he did. That's right. I think they wanted it to be 3 different people, but I guess they didn't. Yeah, J.A. Bayona directed Fallen Kingdom. They brought him in specifically because he's a horror film director. And the movie turns into a horror film with dinosaurs in a mansion.
I see. That's weird.
What's weird?
That they just turned it into a horror film in a house.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing that I got most taken out of that movie during, because here's an easy fix. Easy fix, because a dinosaur just going room by room in a house, going up on the room and then crashing through a window and staying in the house. Here's a fix. They go outside. You have some more dinosaur action scenes outside where it makes sense and you've got room for dinosaurs to run around, because they wouldn't stay in a house. And then you can pull a The Shining and have a hedge maze full of dinosaurs. Someone give me money for this right now.
That sounds better.
Fixed your movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because also like all the scenes end up being, they're like, I know I think it's Fallen Kingdom where they had way more animatronic dinosaurs, just because so many of them they had to actually like interact with really up close.
Yeah.
Which you can't do with CGI. Ooh. Like I get it that it costs more to use animatronics because you have to do a lot of setting up and they're constantly malfunctioning and all this thing. Mm. But it gives the actor something to act with when you have something right there. Well,
especially then, like, oof, it really would have been. Nowadays, everyone's used to acting at tennis balls and being told, here's what's going to be here later. Like, back then, it was still kind of... Plus, putting the actors in the thing in the same shot that close together probably would not have looked good. Like, using dinosaurs for the close-up interactions was definitely... Animatronics was definitely the right idea.
A question. Do we think the ability of some actors these days to act really well versus that tennis ball thing makes them better actors?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to say no, because fuck them.
It makes them better at a certain aspect of acting, but it doesn't actually make them better actors per se.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think if you said, okay, now right here where this tennis ball is a dinosaur coming at you. Look scared. Ah!
Yeah.
Ooh, good job, Ames. That was very convincing.
Give me money.
I don't have any.
For my excellent acting.
As you know, I have none, but I would if I could.
I know what was famously, one of the first sort of, again, not CG, but I know, oh darn, what's his name from Roger Rabbit?
Oh, I don't
Eddie
know.
Valiant.
Yeah, Eddie Valiant's actor, whatever it is, his real name is, like, went through months of mime training to get him ready to interact with thin air.
I think it just really requires a lot because, so much of what makes actors great is feeding off each other, feeding off an audience in some cases. But if you're literally interacting with nothing and you're still able to evoke something real, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think not everybody can do it, too. It's tough. Like I think I said before when talking about Star Wars, when you watch like the behind the scenes footage and they're there like acting against a green screen, looking at nothing, touching a giant green mattress that's supposed to be a dinosaur or something like that. You're just like, this isn't moving making. What is this? What am I watching? This is just a guy playing with puppets.
That's like honestly still one of my favorite scenes from the original Jurassic Park is when they're interacting with the Triceratops.
Oh yeah, and she was a big puppet.
She was, and I love like when Grant's laying on her side and she's breathing, but we never get the answer about what's wrong with her.
That's true, we don't.
Which kind of bothered me. Like I want to know what happened to that Triceratops.
She ate some bad food.
No, but they couldn't find any proof of that. They dug around in some poop. They dug through her shit, found no berries, and then they kept talking about, it happens every 6 weeks. What was that about? Is the indication that she was preggers? Or something?
Oh,
well, no, I guess that's not how dinosaurs pregger. But
no, and he said this has been a recurring issue.
Yeah, every 6 weeks.
Maybe she goes into heat every 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, I just wish that I understood what was going on with that Triceratops, man, because I feel very, very, very close to that Triceratops.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And Laura Dern, you can say whatever you like about her acting. The tears that she literally cries during that scene, that's a great actress right there.
Yeah, and also like extra props for her and for this movie for just having a whole scene dedicated to poop.
Yeah. She is literally elbow deep in a pile of shit. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Also, I just checked. Well, he didn't direct the second one. Trevorrow did write it, so it may have still been his idea.
Swings and roundabouts.
All right, well, I asked several times if you mean the director or you mean Trevorrow, and you kept saying the director.
I thought Trevorrow directed the second one until you corrected me.
So was it Trevor or the director? The director. Sure, Chris.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were different people.
I don't know who Trevorrow is.
He was supposed to do one of the Star Wars.
Yes, he was.
But I guess that didn't happen.
I think he was supposed to do the third one. No, third one. The Rise of Skywalker.
The last one.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Did somebody already mention this? I can't remember if somebody already mentioned this, but that there was originally it was planned to use stop motion for...
Oh, no, I was going to, though, so thank you for bringing it up.
Oh, yeah, bring it up.
Yeah, so like originally the effects house, it might have been ILM, I don't remember, but the effects house that they had hired stop motion animators to do the dinosaur effects, and they did a lot of like screen tests with it, and you can actually see online, there's some videos of those early stop motion screen tests, and they don't look good. I mean,
they look like was
Jason
it in
the Argonauts? You know, they look like they
look like
RoboCop.
RoboCop 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, yeah, they were gonna do stop motion, but then they saw those black and white dinos in those fucking terrible old movies where they look like absolute claymation nightmares.
Like they look like they were very
it.
well done, but apparently I think it was even the puppeteers saw like a demo or something of computer animation and were so blown away with it, like they dropped their whole plan to do stop motion and like taught themselves computer animation. And
before they go extinct.
And like and then they
we have to evolve, says Grant.
Yeah, they became some of the top 3D animators like early in that industry.
Yeah, it definitely would have had that. No matter how smooth you get it, there's an inevitable jerkiness.
Yeah,
there really
jerky.
And these dinos fucking hold up too.
Yeah, they look really good. And I think that's partly the mix between like the CG is just used so sparingly in this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like if they had used it more, it
would not have.
Well,
yeah, like the scene in the kitchen, I feel like is pretty heavily CG, but any of the close-ups I think are still
animatronic,
practical animatronics or puppets, so it still works.
Yeah, like even
the computer. Good.
No, go ahead. Let Caitlin go. Caitlin's been trying to say something for 5 minutes.
No, I was just gonna say that I think that you commented on this at the beginning of the film. I think it's the first Brachiosaurus we see, which is definitely computer animated, is probably the least well held up of all of it, because T-Rex holds up really well, Velociraptor holds up really well.
Mm-hmm.
That Brachiosaurus is a little rough.
Yeah, I think it's less that it is rough and more that the compositing is rough because it's a daylight scene.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
And there's people in the shot, so there's compositing, and I think that's probably why that one looks
it's
the
a little
weakest.
Yeah, like the lighting isn't quite there. The other ones are in darker scenes and they work a lot better.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I get it. It was still a very nascent thing, and with CG, one of the hardest things really is getting the lighting right. They spend so much time rewriting and perfecting lighting engines, and
that's insane.
It's so difficult. I remember reading once, like, this relates less to I'm sure it still applies to, scaly skin, but like there was this big breakthrough for some movie where it was like, we found a way to get it to sort of light skin more realistically because, you've got multiple layers of skin and there's not just the top layer is reflecting light, even though we don't technically see the other ones, it still affects how light acts and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the movement, too. Like, when we move around, we don't just move around. Our muscles shift.
Yep.
Like, our skin will, like, shake, like, a little bit as we move. I know I certainly do, because I've got this layer of fat. Like, the dinosaurs, when you see them move, they're not just stuffed animals moving around.
Right.
They've got, like, muscles, and they've got, the different textures that, you can see from every angle. Like, they look fucking excellent.
They do. And the key part, too, with that is, like, not going to the wrong side of that detail line. Because I've definitely not in Jurassic Park, but like in other things you'll sometimes see where like people will really over animate those little details. And you're just like, nope, too much. Scale it back. Like, even if that's actually happening, we can't usually see it. And seeing it is weird. Like when they over like animate human style faces talking sometimes, you're just like, no. No, stop that. So yeah, I mean, it really does, like, considering it was some of the earliest of that scale and stuff, like, it does hold up shockingly well. Again, though, thank goodness they used animatronics for the close-ups. Because that...
Yeah, I want to give a little extra props to Dilophosaurus, who might be the only dinosaur in the whole franchise to not be at all CGI. I'm not... question marks, because I know she does reappear in Dominion for the first time since Jurassic Park. So there's not enough Dilophosaurus because I always want more because I love her so much. But we see more Dilophosauruses in Dominion, and they're also not CGI at all because they're just so close up the whole time.
Right.
And because, they actually do have to touch the thing, that they're the only one definitely in Dominion that isn't CGI at all, possibly in the whole franchise. That part is unclear based on my quick Wikipedia read.
I am still kind of bummed out to find out Dilophosauruses did not in fact have the neck ruff.
Or spit, as far as we know.
That's see that though I'll give them as because again you can't really tell from bones if they did or didn't, so I'll give them that. But the ruff thing, I guess
the frill?
You can tell from the frill
kind of bone or something. I guess.
Well, usually sometimes, right, there'll be an imprint of the soft tissue behind that you can kind of infer things from, so.
Huh.
Yeah, I think they did that to make her seem more predatory because I know the paleontologist at the time basically said she's got a very, very narrow mandible for a dinosaur. So that was how does she fight and eat things? What does she... what techniques does she use to eat her prey? So they said, well, what if in this movie she spits? And that's how she gets prey. And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes her seem more badass than just this kind of tiny-jawed dinosaur.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm looking at that, and even before the frill comes out, I wouldn't feel like it couldn't kill me.
I love the noises she makes.
Yeah, they're good.
The sound of the sound design of this movie was great.
Yeah. I have a list because on Wikipedia for Jurassic Park, they just have a list of all the dinosaurs you see and what real-world animals they smashed together to make the noises they make.
Nice.
Dilophosaurus, for instance, because I really love the kind of little cooing noises she makes. They combined a swan, a hawk, a howler monkey, and a rattlesnake to make her noise.
Oh, yeah, the rattlesnake you hear when her frill goes. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Speaking,
man.
Speaking, of course, of effects, I want to say that the famous drip in the cup thing was achieved by a guitar string under the
hood?
Yeah. Because, at first they tried just... Yeah, they tried just dropping a drop in, but it was too obvious what was happening or something.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
It didn't have the effect they wanted. And then eventually someone somehow came up with attaching a string to the end of the side of the dash and plucking it.
Yeah, that was smart. It looked great.
Yeah, no, it did exactly what it needed to. And I love that. I love these not simple, but these practical, crazy hack things that nowadays it would probably be, we'll just CG it.
Oh yeah, how to make those cars look autonomously driven. I'm sorry, autoerotically driven. They hid the drivers in the trunk of the car and just had the steering stuff in the trunk of the car so that you wouldn't see someone's actually driving the thing when it was moving.
That's awesome.
That one, that's kind of an old, they've been doing that one for a while. It's really hard too, because you're usually the driver has to drive by a monitor and they're not necessarily facing forward, So even though the monitor, the camera's pointing forward, there's still this sort of disorientation of I feel myself moving one way, but the car is moving another, and this and that.
Yeah, it's how I love when you go see, at Disney World or somewhere, wherever they have, some kind of stunt show with cars driving around doing car stunts.
Yeah.
I know there was one that Jake and I saw in which there were 3 different versions of the car, and when it would disappear behind something, a different one would come out and you wouldn't realize it was different. And there was one that literally was created to drive backwards because the whole interior of the car was flipped around so that the guy could drive the car facing the other direction.
There you go.
Without it being dangerous, or with it being less dangerous.
Yes, with the danger being cranked down a little.
Just a scotch.
Yeah. Very tangentially related. Just, details and this and that. The fact, it's Spielberg. He's Spielberg for a reason. And, these things you maybe wouldn't have missed if they weren't there, but, when you do notice them, you're nice. When they're climbing down the wall during the T-Rex attack, there's just some moss on the wall. Because of course there would be, you know? And again, had it not been there, I wouldn't have gone, where's the moth? But because I spotted it, I was like, someone had to think, oh yeah, we need moss there, and put it there. And it's like, I don't know, little shit like that.
But like, what about, so I know, I mean, this inconsistency has been pointed out a million times before, but the fact that when they're on the road at the paddock, they can see the goat. Yeah, they can see the goat. So the forest seems to be at about the height of the road. And then suddenly it's like a 50-foot drop. So that's a little bit of a...
Well, aren't they further along at that point?
No, it's the same spot because they see the
goat.
Right. They see the goat.
Where's the goat? Where's the goat?
Yeah.
So the forest floor drops about 50 feet during the course of that scene.
That is true.
Oh, in that scene, here's a cute trivia item that I read that I thought was adorable. And that's that Jeff Goldblum had suggested that his character also light a flare. And that's why, so you got Sam Neill lights the flare, gets the dinosaur to go a different way to stop attacking children all the time. That's his character development. Let's not kill children. And Jeff Goldblum said, oh, I should do that too, instead of just running away like Gennaro the lawyer did, because then my character seems a little bit more badass instead of fucking terrified of dinosaurs, which anybody would be.
Yeah, no, I think it helps. Because, I mean, up to that point, like, you like Malcom kind of in spite of yourself. Because he is, like, kind of slimy. So the fact that he does that, you're like, okay, there's a decent person under all the smarm.
Yeah. He's trying to do the right thing. It's not helpful right now, Malcom. We don't need you doing this, but we understand why you think you want to help.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think that is better. I didn't know that was his idea. I'm glad, because again, it makes Malcom way more likable. I mean, we already liked him before, but like, again.
Well, he's also got his smarmy edge.
Yeah, well, that's right, but that's what I mean. Like,
ex-Mrs. Malcom.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you're awful, but I want to fuck you anyway. What is wrong with me? Like, this gives him this edge of like, okay, there's some humanity under all the like glib.
Well, he talks about loving kids, so you kind of...
He's got like 12 of them.
Well, he says it as a lead-in to the ex-Mrs. Malcom thing, and you're like, hey, do you actually like kids, or are you just being goofy?
He probably likes making them.
Well, yes, and that's about it seems.
Yeah, we meet one of his kids in the second movie.
She's a gymnast.
Lost World?
Yep, yes. Lost World.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gymnast scene is probably the worst scene in
it's
the whole first trilogy.
It's the only scene I remember from that movie.
That and the Japanese tourists running away from the T-Rex.
In the city?
Yeah. The Godzilla reference. Like, was that necessary? But no, you're right. The gymnast? The gymnast stuff is definitely most frequently mocked in retrospect.
Yeah, the whole bringing the dinosaur to San Diego seems so stapled on. And I read that's because Spielberg knew he wasn't going to direct another movie. And they were just going to say, okay, the next movie will only do them going to San Diego. And he says, yeah, but I won't be here for that. And I want to do it.
Yeah, but that's pretty stupid.
It is.
It was very tacked on. Like, you feel like the movie has ended, and then like, no, there's more!
I forgot Spielberg did the second one.
He did.
Ugh. Bad choice,
he directed.
Steve.
He's been involved throughout.
Well,
like, I think he's gotten, like, last say on scripts an awful lot.
I mean, he did also direct Indiana Jones 2 and 4, so...
True, and AI.
The man is not without fault.
No, I mean, AI is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I remember liking AI.
It made me cry a lot.
There's parts of AI that I like.
Jude Law's in it.
I mean, here's the thing. Maybe I would have liked it more had it been the movie I thought it was going to be based on the trailers, but it wasn't, so maybe that's my fault.
I mean, it's just Pinocchio, but with robots.
Yeah, which I was not expecting.
Yeah. Speaking of Spielberg being consistent throughout the franchise, another person who's been consistent throughout the franchise is their paleontologist specialist, Jack Horner, who's been their consultant throughout.
I had no idea they had the same person.
Yeah, and he seems like, very helpful in that in the very first movie he convinced them don't make the dinosaurs lizards. They're not lizards, they're more bird than lizards. So when you're doing the raptors are going to do this flickering tongue thing, and he said, "No, stop it. Bad."
No.
And then is it the second or the third movie? The second movie. So in the second movie, there is another paleontologist character that's based on a different paleontologist. That paleontologist, Robert Bacher, and Jack Horner, our friend, basically said, okay, if you're gonna base this other paleontologist in the movie on somebody else, and I don't trust a lot of the science that he thinks is right, you're gonna have the T-Rex eat him. And they did, and the other paleontologist, Bacher, loves it. It was his favorite thing. He's like, yeah, I got eaten by a T-Rex, and that proves my point that T-Rexes would hunt people. And Jack Horner's like, no, they'd be scavengers, god damn it, son of a bitch.
I love no harm academic squabbles. Something like that, where it's like it doesn't actually like hurt how the real world functions or students are taught or whatever. Something like that, which is just we're two academics who have very differing opinions, and we're gonna have a bizarre squabble about it. Does that mean is Grant based off their advisor, or is there another guy he's based off of?
I think Grant might just be
original
a character that Michael Crichton wrote. That I don't know.
I wasn't sure because they said they based this guy on someone real. I wasn't sure if maybe Alan was at all influenced by.
If they did, I don't know.
Okay.
But I loved that detail that he wanted his rival to get eaten.
That's
good for
amazing.
Him.
Good to be the not king, but advisor to the king, I guess.
Good to be T-Rex.
The paleontologist to the king.
Yeah.
Here's another random detail. So for Jurassic Park 3, and reminders, Jurassic Park 3, there aren't any bad guys. Jurassic Park 3, it's literally just we're going to rescue people from the island who got themselves stranded there like fools.
That's right.
Fucking fools. But the original plan was that Alan Grant, as lost all his science funding, as he's been, dreading for years and years, and he's been secretly living on the island, studying the dinosaurs in real life because he's just become an outcast from society.
That sounds like a way better Jurassic Park 3 than we got.
It might have been.
I love the idea of just gone slightly mad living with the dinosaurs, Alan Grant. And then a plane crashes on his island and he's like, what the hell is this?
I didn't want to see people again.
Fuck, I'd watch that movie. Now I'm really, again, I remember almost nothing about 3, but I remember it was bad. This one might have been...
less bad?
Maybe?
Slightly less bad?
I wouldn't call 3 bad. It's definitely the least good because when you're up against Jurassic Park the original, there's nothing else on that level.
Yeah.
But I do remember really enjoying that 3 very prominently features pteranodons. And they eat the fuck out of a lot of things.
Was that the first one to have pteranodons, or
you glimpse them in Lost World, but they don't do anything?
Okay.
I think you see them flying.
Right, because isn't there a whole not apiary? Is that the word I want?
Yeah.
There's a whole apiary in 3, isn't there?
Aviary.
Aviary. That yes.
Yeah, in 3, they go in the aviary and realize we're in a bird cage, and then Billy gets bitten by dinosaurs for a while.
Which is weird because they have this whole aviary on the other island, but not on, they don't have any avian dinosaurs on the main island. They
hadn't found their blood yet.
No.
Or something, or they just hadn't built it yet because it did. But I think because Hammond did mention it was still kind of a work in progress.
Yeah, but I figured all of the work kind of stopped after the incident.
I don't know. The impression I was under was just that they were possibly going to prevent it from opening, but that work was still progressing. Because I'm sure they were still cloning dinosaurs and stuff. The labs were active, so maybe.
Yeah, there's a second island twist that they used to make the second and third movie brilliant. Just chef's kiss. Good job, guys. You figured out how to continue the series.
Couldn't they have just made it the first island, though? That's what I don't understand. Why did it have to be a second island?
They nuked that one from orbit.
When?
They didn't.
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, when did that happen?
No, I'm joking.
In theory, all the dinosaurs on the first island should have died, because, again, a line I completely forgot was the fact that they apparently made it so the dinosaurs didn't produce some protein they needed.
Lysine?
Yeah, lysine.
There was some kind of chemical that they couldn't get, but...
they needed vitamins or something.
Yeah, but it turns out that was bullshit, because life found a way.
Yeah. It is funny that they were suggesting, what about the lysine protocol? It's like, Sam, no offense, buddy, but there are immediate issues that waiting for these dinosaurs to die from a lysine deficiency isn't gonna solve. Like, how long will that take? A couple of weeks? Okay.
Plus, I think, I forget if it's in the second movie or the third movie or somewhere else, that they basically say, oh, to counteract the lysine deficiency, they've been eating X, which has lysine in it, and they found it in the island, because we didn't plan. We didn't fucking plan even a little bit.
No. Well, as Ellie points out, like, you picked plants because they were pretty, but some of those are poisonous.
Yeah, but they also, so there's also a point, before they even realize that there's dinosaurs, she's just amazed that she found some plant that should be extinct.
Yep.
Which
was bitten by a mosquito.
Yeah,
right?
Which I'm like, where did this extinct plant come from? And it's never brought up again.
Well, see, one of the mosquitoes,
was a Vegisaurus.
After dinner, was going home to its mosquito partner and got a little bouquet of plants to present them on their birthday.
Could you find plant DNA just in amber as well?
Maybe.
That might be a more direct approach. I know, and this was when I was reading it or watching a video on the whole mosquito and amber thing and how that wouldn't work. There actually is a bit of dinosaur tail that they found in amber somewhere.
Yes, I remember that.
That's kind of cool. Are they going to make some clones from it or what?
They already have.
Really?
No, I doubt it. I don't. That's the thing, and that's a part of the proof of how, like, DNA from 65 million years ago would not work today.
No. Like, you'd have better luck just, like, building one by artificially making the DNA strand yourself somehow.
Okay.
Do it. I was reading somewhere that there's a lot of talk about, do we bring back some mammoths? Because we actually do have more recent DNA from mammoths that's fairly intact. You can get a mammoth burger. No.
To eat or like why? Why
to release into the tundra, because if they start walking around in the tundra, it's going to reshape the soil, and depending on how they eat the grass and how they walk around, it would make that area different type of habitable area.
See, again, though, that feels like, the condor argument. The condor is going extinct because of us.
Damn it.
The mammoth went extinct. I mean, I'm sure we hunted them for a bit because there was some overlap, but not enough to destroy the species.
I'm pretty sure that's pretty accepted that, like, mammoth were kind of hunted to extinction.
They were?
I feel like I've heard that before.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. In that case, sure, bring them back. Never mind.
Yay!
I rescind
more
my
mammoths.
objection.
Yeah. I mean,
Bring back
to
the
extinction by, like, people 40,000 years ago.
It would be pretty easy to do, though, when you think of it, because if mammoths have a life cycle that's like an elephant's and they have a birth cycle that's like an elephant's, they're only giving birth to, like, one baby, and it probably takes, like, 12 months or more. So it'd be probably pretty easy to take down that population quickly.
Here's though I think would be easier than cloning mammoths. Just buy a bunch of really big fur coats to put on elephants, so they can then just go to the tundra but not freeze.
They'd look so fashionable.
They would.
Well, I imagine that's what they would have to do, though, is like, because I don't think you can just. I think you'd have to, like, splice it with elephant DNA. Like, I don't think you could just, like, straight up clone a mammoth, but you might be able to create a mammoth elephant hybrid if they're closely related enough. They certainly look the same.
It's like a slightly less interesting Jurassic Park. Just fuck ton of mammoths park.
You bring back some saber-toothed cats.
Oh no.
Meow.
Now you're just making live action Ice Age. Stop it.
You got any giant sloths?
Definitely
Someone call Ray Romano.
No.
Ma.
Oh god.
All right, we've been going a while. Anything else about Jurassic thing?
Okay, I want to ask everybody, because you're all here, and why not? What's your favorite dino?
Ah, fuck. I should have realized you were going to ask this. I haven't thought about dinosaurs in so long before today.
We just watched a movie this morning.
I said before today.
Without a doubt, Ankylosaurus.
Oh, yay, that's a good one. They're so cute.
They are cute. They got that hammer tail.
Oh, that's a good one.
They got spinies.
Oh, is that the one that's kind of like a turtle shell on his back?
Yeah, the armored thing.
Yeah,
I like him.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go with him. I like him.
You're going with him too,
you
Jake?
can't all pick him. All right,
I
fine.
like him.
Fuck, hold on. Shit. Let me Google
Keeping dinosaurs?
list of dinosaurs.
Oh, there's so many.
That's my favorite dinosaur.
There's too many.
Stegosaurus, that's a pretty good one.
Stegos are fun.
Yeah.
Got a nice spiny back.
Yeah, stegos were not in Jurassic Park, but they, due to popular demand, they brought stegos into the second movie, Lost World, because people demanded stegos. Why weren't there any stegos?
Well, I mean, it's a good question because there's, like, basically every kid gets their sort of dinosaur pantheon, more or less, I would say, from, like, the Land Before Time, right? And then you may branch out and find other drugs, but in that, you've got, of course, your long neck, your three-horn, your stegosaurus, your pterodactyl, and whatever the fuck Ducky is supposed to be.
A duck.
She might actually be, like, almost a compy, because she's tiny.
No, but she was going to grow bigger, though. I thought she was going to be a Parasaurolophus, like the Voth people.
Is that what she is? I have no idea. But the point is, I feel like those four, aside from Ducky, are like the most recognizable dinosaurs in the pantheon of dinosaurs. At least they were when I was a kid. And they did show us a Triceratops, and they did show us a Brachiosaurus, and they did show us a T-Rex, but they never showed us Stegosaurus.
You know, I guess now looking, just kind of glancing at dinosaurs, I don't know if this is actually still the case. I need time to really stop and think. But now that I'm thinking about it, when I was a kid, I was super fond of pterodactyls, so I'm going to say
yes! That. Oh, they're great. See, that's a good point. I remember really loving pterodactyls because of Land Before Time, and because Petrie was so fun.
Petrie was fun.
Petrie was definitely my favorite from Land Before Time. I think from Jurassic Park, my favorites were the Dilophosauruses. Because of the frill, and knowing that there's no frill. It's like, I still love them, but do I love them as much? I don't know. And in general, I'm just a big fan of Compsognathus, the compies, because they're just so cute. And because they eat little girls.
Anyway, yes, pterodactyl. Go with pterodactyl.
That's a good choice. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I know, like, I'm a sucker for all these movies, regardless of if they're any good or not, just because I think dinosaurs are super cool. And it's really fun seeing them, and they do so good with the CGI for these dinosaurs. Was it last year, Jake, that we went and saw Dino Safari in Boston?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was just you walk around Faneuil Hall. They might still be there, I'm not even sure.
No, I think it was a traveling...
But I also think it's back in Boston at some point in the not too distant future. I just don't think it's in the same place.
Okay, well, I recommend it. I think it was a lot of fun. Like, life-size animatronic dinosaur puppets that you just walk room by room and see them, and they move a little bit. Some of them don't move as much. Some of them don't move at all. And there were a lot of the dinosaurs that we recognize from these movies in there, and some other good ones. So definitely learn more about dinosaurs. Oh, that weird thing that I just looked up, the Therizinosaurus. That big thing with the long-ass claws from Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, was that thing real?
Yeah.
I assumed it was like the spliced up thing, since they were talking about making fake dinosaurs. I assumed it was a fakie.
Nope, in Dominion, they specifically only make more realistic dinosaurs, which is why you see feathered raptors in their park, in their little sanctuary. And also to shut up, nerds! God damn it! We didn't know they had feathers when the movie was first made. Shut up!
You know what happens to nerds in these movies? They get spat on and et.
Yes.
No, they wind up knowing how to use Unix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Touche.
I had no idea that was a real thing. Those big claws were ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember in the safari, the animatronic of that thing, it barely fit in the room. You basically had to like go to the farthest edge of the room to be able to see the whole thing in one, get it on your camera, because it was so big and so weird, and just I think they also had like the way that they did like feathers and hair in the safari was a little odd, because it looked more like they threw like a little woolen blanket over them instead of actually put fur on them. But I remember seeing that thing and being like, what the fuck are you? You look fucking terrifying.
A lot of that's the thing, I feel like megafauna in general just, like giant sloths, like 6 foot tall sloths. Real, modern sloth, adorable. 6 foot version, I might shit my pants.
Well, especially with their huge claws, because sloths have really big, long claws, too.
Yeah.
So you figure if they already have like 4-inch claws, if they're 6 feet tall, which is like 4 times bigger than they are now.
Although those claws are mostly for tree climbing, and I imagine the giant ones maybe spent less time in trees.
I don't know, man.
Nope, always in trees.
Fair.
The trees were bigger back then too.
True. Everything was bigger.
Yeah. Like Texas.
Especially the Earth. Wait, no. I
You
ain't
ready?
bad.
I think we're about done talking about dinosaurs.
Yes, that's what
It's
it was. This is kind of what this was. There's less Jurassic Park and more dinosaurs, and occasionally one of the Jurassic movies, which is fine.
Yay, we love dinosaurs.
Who doesn't? Maybe Colin Trevorrow.
I don't know, he's made a lot of money off of dinosaurs.
True.
Sure, he's fine.
Not in the real world, but certainly I'm sure in the world of Jurassic Park, Tim now studies anything but dinosaurs.
True.
I doubt
He's
it.
had his fill.
Yeah, no, he has.
No way, he still loves them.
He has moved on to anything else.
Maybe he becomes Chris Pratt.
Speaking of moving on to anything else, all right, let's start taking it out, because also it's very hot today. I want to turn my air conditioner back on.
Yes,
Yes.
I am
please.
sweating into this chair.
Mm.
So we're going to be moving on next week. We're going back to doing more Star Trek The Voyager.
Woo!
Episodes next week are going to be, I believe, Displaced and Worst Case Scenario.
Let's go with sure.
I think that's right, because I don't have my notes in front of me, but I also know we're almost done with Season 3 of Voyager. And
Which is bonkers.
It has been a ride, guys, and, we're looking forward to covering those with you.
Yep.
So keep following us right here on whatever podcast application you're listening to. I use SoundCloud. You can use whatever the fuck you like. You can also follow us on the Facebook. You can follow us on the Twitter. You can read all of our excellent blog posts. This week we're taking off because we went to Dinosaur Land. But if you go to our Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, we've got lots of great content up there. We've been talking about all of our favorite characters from individual alien races in Star Trek. It's been a whole lot of fun. And just the whole Tumblr page in general is just full of lots of fun. So make sure you're following us there. And make sure you come to the Dinosaur Land with us. Life found a way. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
Are you being a dinosaur?
No,
No,
it's
that's that
crazy
Jeff
laugh
Goldblum
Jeff
laugh.
Goldblum does.
Oh, God. Okay, I thought you were being a dinosaur.
No.
Chris, be a dinosaur. Carl!